I'm not saying that I love you. I'm not saying that I'll care if you love me. I'm not saying that I'll care. I'm not saying I'll be there when you need me. I can't give my heart to you or tell you that I'll sing your name up to the sky. I can't lay the promise down that I'll always be around when you need me. Now I may not be alone each time you see me along the street or in a small cafe, but still I won't deny you or mistreat you. Baby, if you let me have my way, I'm not saying I'll be sorry for all the things that I might say that make you cry. I can't say I'll always do the things you want me to. I'm not saying I'll be true, but I'll try. Ribbon of darkness over me since my true love walked out the door. Tears I never had before. Ribbon of darkness over me. Clouds are gathering over my head that chill the day and hide the sun, that shroud the night when day is done. Ribbon of darkness over me. Rain is falling on the meadow where once my love and I did lie. Now she is gone from the meadow. My love, goodbye. How I wish your heart could see how mine just aches and breaks all day. Come on home and take away this ribbon of darkness over me. Come on home and take away a ribbon of darkness over me. The lamp is burning low upon my tabletop. The snow is softly falling. The air is still in the silence of my room. I hear your voice softly calling. If I could only have you near to breathe a sigh or two, I would be happy just to hold the hands I love on this winter night with you. The smoke is rising in the shadows overhead. My glass is almost empty. I read again between the lines upon each page the words of love you sent me. If I could know within my heart that you were lonely too, I would be happy just to hold the hands I love on this winter night with you. The fire is dying now, my lamp is growing dim. The shades of night are lifting. The morning light steals across my window pane, where whips of snow are drifting. If I could only have you near to breathe a sigh or two, I would be happy just to hold the hands I love on this winter night with you, and to be once again with you. There was a time in this fair land when the railroad did not run, when the wild, majestic mountains stood alone against the sun. Long before the white man and long before the wheel, when the green, dark forest was too silent to be real. But time has no beginnings and the history has no bounds. As to this verdant country they came from all around. They sailed upon her waterways and they walked the forest tall, built the mines, the mills and the factories for the good of us all. And when the young man's fancy had turned into the spring, the railroad men grew restless for to hear the hammers ring. Their minds were overflowing with the visions of their day, with many a fortune won and lost and many a debt to pay. For they looked in the future and what did they see? They saw an iron road running from the sea to the sea, bringing the goods to a young growing land, all up from the seaboards and into their hands. Look away, said they, across this mighty land, from the eastern shore to the western strand. Bring the workers and bring up the rails. We gotta lay down the tracks and tear up the trails. Open their heart, let the lifeblood flow. Gotta get on our way, 'cause we're moving too slow. Bring in the workers and bring up the rails. We gotta lay down the tracks and tear up the trails. Open their heart, let the lifeblood flow. Gotta get on our way, 'cause we're moving too slow. Get on our way, 'cause we're moving too slow. Behind the blue Rockies, the sun is declining. The stars, they come stealing at the close of the day. Across the wide prairie, our loved ones lie sleeping. Beyond the dark oceans, in a place far away, we are the navvies who work upon the railway, swinging our hammers in the bright blazing sun, living on stew and drinking bad whiskey. Mending our backs till the long days are done. We are the navvies who work upon the railway, swinging our hammers in the bright blazing sun, laying down track and building the bridges, bending our backs till the railroad is done. So over the mountains and over the plains, into the Muskeg and into the rain, up the St. Lawrence all the way to Gaspé, swinging our hammers and drawing up pay, driving them in and tying them down, away to the bunkhouse and into the town. $1 a day and a place for my head, a drink to the living, a toast to the dead. Oh, the song of the future has been sung. Oh, the battles have been won. On the mountain tops we stand. Oh, the world at our command. We have opened up the soil with our teardrops and our toil. For there was a time in this fair land when the railroad did not run, when the wild majestic mountains stood alone against the sun. Long before the white man and long before the wheel, when the green dark forest was too silent to be real, when the green dark forest was too silent to be real, and many are the dead men too silent to be real. Softly she comes, whispers the breeze with her passing, in secret love she is laughing. Softly she comes in the night, softly she sighs, sweetly she lies, never sleeping. Her fragrance all in my keeping. Softly she comes in the night, down the darkened hall I hear her footsteps on my stair, and she is in my arms once more. Softly she goes, her shining lips in the shadows. Whisper goodbye at my window. Softly she goes in the dawn. Softly she goes in the dawn.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Little Gordon Lightfoot there. I love that guy. Love that guy. Well, since past, I guess. But any case, hope you're having a good day today. And markets just kind of on a slow grind, slow melt up. I'm Bagged On, and this is stockmarketcaddy.com live. And from about noon today, for whomever might slide by, we're going to answer your questions. I'm not going to, this isn't an entertainment show per se. I'm not doing that. Not that at all. It's your opportunity, though, if you are a trader or you've been following us or seen some of our videos and on Twitter or on YouTube and been by our website and you have some questions about what it is we're doing, what it is about what you're doing, maybe, it's your opportunity to ask those questions. And if you just put them in, I got to pull that up. I got to be able to see that little chat function. And now there is a little bit of a delay, so we're not presenting this so that folks can mimic trades, but we can give you a chance. You're on about a 40-50 second delay because of YouTube. You probably want to put it, if you want to get the best image possible, you might want to put it on in high def. We can take a look at Swing Machine and see what it's doing here this morning. Let me show you. Excuse me. We look at the 5-minute VIX. We'll start with the VIX. The 5-minute VIX is long, oddly enough. And so it does give me a little bit of pause, right? The market is ignoring it for now, We look at, we like to come in and slow things down. We can certainly look at the 1 minute and the 3 minute, but we like to come in and look at the 5-minute. Maybe you want to, be a 5-minute trader. We'll even look at the 1 hour views too in a moment. And again, happy to answer any of your questions as folks might stop in. Let's highlight this a little and just show you. So the 5-minute interval on Swing Machine went long at 7:35 today. And if you took it long, if you were an annual member and you had this on your desktop, and we're asked all the time, that is this real? Can this be automated? And all of that? Yes. But there is a skill set, to getting this money in your account, right? It's like getting the fish in the boat. Swing Machine's going to hook them, but you got to get it in the boat. One mini contract is currently real time is worth $500 some odd, $530, $560, $250. A micro would be $55. A micro. 10 minis would be over $5,000. How much money does it take to trade? A mini contract during these hours from 9 to 4 is using about on the mini, give or take, and don't hold me to this, about $1,500, $1,600, somewhere around that. The NQ is around 18 and 1900, I think, at current levels. What's crazy is the micro is about the same. So, I mean, I think it's actually is the same. Look at the NQ on a 5-minute basis right here. Check this out. At 4:15, this was yesterday. At 4:15 yesterday, were you shorting it at the end of the day? Wouldn't be so good. Look at the Dow. Dow is actually short. That's a little odd, huh? It's only 30 stocks, and we don't usually trade the Dow that much. Look at the Russell. Russell's been doing pretty well. It's up 185. And gold is short right now. It's relatively flat. And oil is actually trying to get short right here, right now. That's suggesting anybody short it. So there's a few trades there to have been had. What's going on down here? We're continuing to run our robot strategy that is in focus right now. It's the SMC Stinger robot, and this is our view today. It's not a perfect match here because we did have a losing position that got calculated overnight. This gets when TradeStation does it for today, it gets rebalanced at like about 2 a.m. So there was a loss embedded in there. If you want to know what the strategy, if you had turned on this strategy at midnight, this is how much you would have booked. You would have 1123.40 in your account, profit factor of 2, and that would not and does not include this that's going on up there. So it's having a pretty good day. And now we had an off day yesterday, to say the least. We learned a lot from it, and then we re-optimized the strategy. If you have any questions about who we are, what we're doing, what we're about, again, your opportunity to ask. Let me clear. Well, I'll keep them there. Now, this is, if you've been following us for a few days, let me show you something. Let's take the ES contract. Oops. I guess when I click here, it messes up my thing. I'll put that back. But so let's change this to a 60-minute interval. So if you had traded a 60-minute interval, you said, I don't want to trade every 5 minutes, Don. Well, you don't trade every 5 minutes, even on a 5-minute interval. No more than an hour interval, you wouldn't trade every hour either, right? It could last for days. In fact, this 60-minute signal, and it's a signal from Swing Machine, to get long, 65, yeah, and I'm going to erase those things because they're in the way now. See this thing right here. 65 hours ago. That was on the 10th. So what is that? 3 days ago? If you had taken it long at 7 p.m. right here at this price, 1 mini, you'd be up $4,362. 1 micro, 437. 10 minis, 43 grand. You can probably take the rest of the week off. The NQ, let's put the NQ. This is probably going to make you want to puke. 60-minute interval, 59 hours ago at 1 a.m. on the 11th. Yes, the markets were open. They're liquid. You could have put that trade on at 1, could have put it on a little later too. You would be up 1 mini, 8,830 some odd dollars. A micro, 800. 10 minis, 88 grand. Maybe take the next couple of weeks off. Mm. I was asked the other day about very nice gentleman called, and we're always happy to take your questions. We encourage everybody to visit the website. You can email us your questions. You can call us, and you can put your questions in here if you'd like. One of his questions was, "What value?" Don, but that Q school is, it's pretty expensive. He was saying, well, um, the expense is commensurate with value. So whether or not something is expensive or not, um, we're prepared to spend 3+ weeks with you. In fact, we require everyone to do that, unless and you only have to do it once. You don't have to do it twice. But initially, we require everyone do that, and that actually slows the process down. But we want to make sure that we answer all of your questions and give you as much of a view real time in these markets as we can, as to what these markets are about, what our tools are about, and to take that time. That Q school, there are over 25 hours of on-demand videos. If you want to watch them for a week or two, if you want to purchase the Q school, it is a purchase. And you want to watch those for a week or two before we get started, and we've had folks want to do that, and we're totally fine with that. And then we'll spend, the time one-on-one. And that Q school, you have a live Zoom feed, not YouTube, but a live Zoom feed, and we present the image that we want you to be watching and competing with and keeping track and measuring. The question though that the gentleman put to me was was good, but what is difficult is it may be difficult to understand or appreciate something if you don't know what you don't know. So I'm not trying to be rude or arrogant in any way, but when I spoke with him, and he was very, he kind of chuckled, and he was very, very, very mature gentleman, very mature, because sometimes he was a young guy, folks don't want to admit what they don't know. And he's like, it's like, do you know what a profit factor is? No, I don't. Okay. And so we talked about it. And, we talked about some of the other things. We talked about options. We've been trading options for quite a while. I said, do you understand how options are priced? No, I really don't. Okay. It's all right. Most people trading options have no clue how they're priced. Critically important. Do you know the difference between, and I've asked others, so it wasn't just this one gentleman, but we, many times have these conversations with many people. I'll ask, do you know what the difference between a back test and a forward test is? Do you know how to use a back test? Do you know how to, use the forward test? Do you know how to analyze your own trading? Do you know the difference between a stock and a bond? Treasuries. Do you know how treasuries move in relation to interest rates? Do you know what pairs trading is? Do you know what hedging is? Do you know why you might want to hedge? Do you know what a trading strategy or a trading robot is, what it isn't? Do you know how to go about making those adjustments? Do you know what point and figure is? Do you know what Renko is? Custom Renko, mean Renko. Do you know what line breaks charts are? Do you know what range bars are? Do you know what Kagi charts are? Do you know what the difference might be between a time chart and a price chart? Do you know what the difference might be between a tick chart and a price chart? And the other important aspect is, even if one knows what all that is, do you know how to use them? Have you demonstrated to yourself? Have you demonstrated to yourself a level of proficiency? Hmm? Have you? And you've been trading for how many years? Years? How much money, I don't need to know, but how much money have you lost? How much time have you wasted? How expensive is that? Hmm? How many people are prepared to spend 3 weeks with you? Your plumber? Your lawyer? Anybody? Do you think one of the Nigerians, I saw him with his selfie stick, and they like seem like nice guys. They really do. He's up in Newport, Rhode Island with the hoi polloi. He's rolling out of a hotel. Probably had a late night dinner with all the customers for their service that they do. They're having a little junket. He's got a selfie stick, and he's talking about this trade, that trade, as he's going out of the hotel, and he's probably going on a sailboat. Do you think he's going to spend 3 weeks with you? Do you think he's going to spend 3 days with you? With you, one on one? Do you think he's going to spend 30 minutes with you? Hmm? Are you going to learn anything from them? Not to knock them. I saw a thing, they wanted $12,000. They seem like really nice guys. I got to tell you, they really do. But I would not spend $12,000 to fly on a private plane. Well, it was going to be a private ride to Napa Valley and spend 2 or 3 days at a resort to talk stocks with those guys. But they did. Cost you 12 grand. We're not the Nigerians. We're not on CNBC. We don't have thousands of followers. No. And that's just fine. We just come in every day, do what we do, show you what we do, at least a glimpse, give you a chance to see, give you a chance to ask questions, and then give you an opportunity for you to make a decision whether it's something you want to do or you don't want to do. That's it. It's that simple. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate. I'm going to, this little report over here is static. It doesn't update dynamically. So I have to hit a little generate the report, and there it is. See, that hasn't. So this is since midnight. That's what this report is doing. It's from the 13th. It's today. And I can show you as well just how many trades. There have been 9 trades. This thing said 9 trades, but it's actually at 10. It doesn't see that one yet. And imagine that. Now, this little trading robot has lost 7 out of 10 times, right? 7 out of 10 times. Most people, because they don't know what they don't know, if I told them I have this trading robot and it loses 70% of the time, they'd be like, I don't want that. I don't want that. That I don't want to run that. Oh, no. Because they don't know what they don't know. If I can help you in any way get an understanding of your own trading and or what we're doing, don't hesitate. Be sure to visit the website. You're welcome to call, and you're also welcome to put the questions in the chat. We're going to let you watch. If this machine closes out this trade, we'll come over here and click that button, and this will update statically. What I mean by static is I have to hit a button and then it updates. Swing machine is dynamic. It's updating itself tick for tick as the market does its thing. Enjoy. Thanks. Okay, don't I noticed that that was stuck on yellow. I'm not sure why that did that. It's probably the Nasdaq moving so darn fast. So I'm not sure why it did that. So the 5 minute is, that trade is up 600, 3,400. Are you going to get every single trade? No. Nope. But you don't need every single trade. You just need a few, maybe in a week. Slow your breathing down, slow your trading down, slow your expectations down. Stop making decisions based purely on money. If you're making decisions on the money and you're getting a vicarious thrill about the money, and only you know that, right? Only you know that. But if you are getting a charge, you are getting a dopamine hit because you made, $385 or you made, $3,000 and you get a dopamine rush from that, you want to be careful because you at that point you are trading, you're being impacted by greed and fear, those emotions. It's normal. It's normal, but it isn't something that you want to tolerate. And you don't want to make decisions on that. Okay. You will get caught. And so you have to work and you have to school yourself. So, we go back to the Q school. It's difficult for me. I can't impart a 3 week, and I've been asked even by members like Don, it really should be 4 weeks, Um, we just can't spend that much time. We lay it out, but you will be spending the rest of your life, the rest of the year, the rest of your life working on the concepts that we will make you aware of. That's really the value of the Q school. We're going to make you aware of the things that you need to be aware of. To give you, for instance, I'm not picking on the gentleman. He might be here on the YouTube, so I'm not. He was very mature. He really was. He's like, I don't know. I don't know. Most people won't even say that. They'll be like, well, they want to do a Google check, so he was very mature about that. But he wanted to know, for instance, can can we trade options robotically? Right. Well, that led to another consideration. So he may have a desire to trade options robotically, but there's a couple of things. One, as he said, and I'm beating him up. Most option traders don't know. He didn't know how they were even priced, but it was, do you understand? And I can't recall if he did it. I'm assuming he didn't understand. What do we mean by liquidity? Liquidity. Do you understand what we mean by liquidity? Options don't have the liquidity to trade them robotically. Okay, so, but if you don't know what we mean by liquidity, it is another very important concept that we've got to go through, and we've got to explain that and how that comes into play. That said, you can trade options mechanically. Well, I don't understand, Don. What is the difference between mechanical trading and robotic trading? There's a big difference. What is the difference between discretionary trading and mechanical trading? There's a really big difference. So, and even coming back to the profit factor, if you don't know how to keep score, you see these professional golfers, and maybe you don't know if you're not a golfer, but they don't keep just the score of their score, right? They keep score of the intrinsics. How many fairways did they hit? How many greens did they hit in regulation? How many putts did they make? How many sand saves did they make? Why do they want to know the internal score? Why do they want to know that? So they know what to work on. They know what aspect of their game is really strong, what aspect of their game is really weak. But if you don't know how to keep score, or you're not keeping score, you're just keeping score of the overall result. Oh, I shot 110. I shot 95, or boy, I shot 89, or whatever it is. But if you're not keeping, you're having fun, you're slapping the ball around, you're having a good time, great, no problem. But if you're trying to play competitive golf, if you're trying to do competitive trading, you really need to up your game. Our members are grown men and women. They have all kinds of careers. We have CEOs, we have CFOs, we have software engineers, we have professional golfers, we have salespeople, we have firemen, we have policemen. They have families, they have responsibilities, and you're competing not necessarily with them, but the market you're looking at, the S&P futures, is the biggest, deepest market in the world. There are grown men and women working for multi-billion-dollar firms looking at exactly the same price you're looking at right here, right now. They may be in some corner building, corner office up in Chicago, looking out over the Great Lakes. They might be in godforsaken New York City. They might be on a yacht off of Monte Carlo. And you are looking at the exact same markets. You may be trading a micro. You may be trading a mini. You may think you're the big cheese and you're trading 10 of these. They're trading hundreds of them. Hundreds, thousands of them. Do you think they get nervous? We're not a hedge fund. We're not. We don't make specific recommendations to buy or sell anything. That was the other thing too. When I was talking to the other gentleman, it was nice enough. I'm very appreciative when folks call. So if he is listening, I'm not in any way beating him up. He was a very nice gentleman and very mature gentleman. And when I first started out, I said to him, when we were talking on the phone, I said, I want you to know who I'm not. I'm not a broker. I'm not a financial advisor. We don't make specific recommendations. And he interrupted. He goes, "Oh, you're starting with the disclaimers." Well, that's what you might hear. But from me, it's much more important than that. They are disclaimers. I don't make specific recommendations to buy or sell anything because I'm not licensed to do so. I do not manage any funds. I am not licensed to do so. I don't solicit funds to manage. I am not licensed to do so. Yes, it is a disclaimer, but it's much more important than that. What I'm saying is when I first introduced that, I want you to understand this is teaching folks what we do. And I've had some folks, I joke about it. This wasn't this gentleman. I actually mentioned it to him. And I'll say as well, part of that is, that we don't manage funds and we don't make specific recommendations and that we don't make any claims. And I've had some nasty folks, send me an email that, what the hell do you do? Why the hell do you send a YouTube video out? What the hell? You don't even do why the crap would I even follow you? And the reason I started out with that is because it leads into, what do we do? We're mentors. We're here to help you learn to trade your game, make you aware of the things that maybe you're not aware of. That's why we come on during the week for a little bit, especially more during the summer. And the way that we look at this is those people that understand, and if we resonate with them, they'll understand. Those people that don't understand, they're not aware of what they're not aware of. The ones that send us the email, "Oh, what the hell? I don't want to follow you. You don't make any recommendations. You don't manage my money. You don't you don't make any claims. I'm not going to follow you. I'm not going to subscribe." Good. Please don't. God, that's the last thing in the world I would want. I don't want that. And that is exactly why we slow our whole membership down. Can't buy an individual program. Nope, not going to do it, because if we sold individual programs, that person who doesn't know what he doesn't know would probably go ahead and buy it. And then he's just going to be, running around, and, he doesn't know what he's doing. I'd rather not. I'd rather not. And if somebody's going to sign up wants to sign up as an annual, I suppose we would have a lot more annual members. I would, if we didn't slow it down and demand that folks go through the Q school. I'm sure that would be the case. People have told us that. But we don't want to do that, because I'm deliberately slowing it down. So when we mention those things, those might be disclaimers, but stop and think about it. Stop and think about what we're saying versus what others. And I'm very, I take time to explain that, where others, you'll hear them, they ramble through it, we're not a broke. And I guess that's why people become desensitized to this whole notion, "Oh, it's just a disclaimer." Yeah, but this is different, right? We're not providing a signal service, right? There are these other firms or other whatever services that they provide a signal service to buy and sell something. Will our tools on your desktop give you those signals? Yes. Or signals? Yes, they will. But you'll have to make a decision how to configure them and how to use them. And, we'll certainly give you the guidance, but you will have to accept responsibility for setting it up and for managing it. And it may explain why we only have one person in the YouTube, and it's probably Tina. I think, although, the viewers, the count on YouTube is messed up, and it's not very accurate, I don't think, but other folks may come by. And um, kind of lost my thought. um, it there's a maturity that goes with that, right? So, and I had another person that I refer to, but it happens. The conversation happens all the time, all the time, and the person was saying that I'll ask, well, you like to trade options. A lot of it's around options. And because options, you only have to put up a little bit of money, and the same is true with futures. But options, they'll blow a hole in your account. It's kind of a, see, but they can open up an options account. You see, if you want to intraday, if you want to day trade stocks, you have to have at least 20. You have to maintain $25,000 in your account. It is Tina. I know it's you, Tina. Good to see you. And so a lot of times people be like, "Well, I don't want to." No, that's all right. That's okay. And people are busy, right? People are working, and so they'll see that when they can. Um, when so they'll open up an options account because they don't need to have the full 25,000, and then they want to get doubles and triples and whatnot. But um I wish it was that easy. I wish it was that easy. And it isn't, right? Um, but we're we just come back in and we have a couple of folks I'll just show. I mean, if somebody's been following us for the last, let's say this week, let's put the ES on a 60-minute. Okay. Let's say that what is today's date? Today's the 13th. So this was on the 10th. So let's say they joined last week. Theoretically, they couldn't have gone through everything, but let's say they did. Let's say they finished Q school and they put a trade on Monday at 7 p.m. on an hour. They're up 4,400. Let's look at the NQ on the hour. On the 11th at 1 a.m., they're up $9,000. I don't know anyone. I will plug in any market on any interval, can be a stock. Could you have traded? What would your calls have done? What if you bought calls? Now, you couldn't have bought them at 7 p.m. You had to buy them the next morning. But what if you bought calls? By the way, we're getting some bad weather threatening to roll in here. Yeah, I can hear it through my headphones. So if we lose you, it's Tampa Bay in the middle of the summer. We have had one hot one. These storms are hellacious too. So time is money. We can't buy it. It's more valuable than money. It is. It's the most valuable commodity of all. You can't buy it. You can't sell it. Okay, I'll be right back. But any questions? Sing out. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. But so again, um, but time is the most valuable commodity. It can't be bought, can't be sold. They say that the people who most recognize that about time, and it's kind of crazy when you think about it, it should really be the other way around. You know who value time the most? Have you ever thought about that? I've seen some studies and I've heard some conversations about this, and it seems to I never really thought about it, but um billionaires, billionaires. Because what happens is, a billion, when you're a billionaire, and I'm not a billionaire, um, it's hard to fathom. But there are these, if you go online, you can see some of these comparisons comparing what does it mean? What is a millionaire and 100 millionaire to like a billionaire? And it's all relative, right? Some people may think, having $1 million is rich, or it could be 5 million, it could be 10 million, it could be 100 million. Um, when you get to being a billionaire or a multi-billionaire, um, money really doesn't have any value, right? I mean, they will spend, $10,000, to fly, on the Concorde. I don't know if they still have the Concorde. Um, but they would spend $10,000 on a Concorde flight to London. $10,000 for a seat on the Concorde, for the rest of us would be unheard of. But for a billionaire, it would be like, and there are people that spell out the math. I may be even overstating it, but it's like 10 cents. It's like 5 cents. It's nothing. It's nothing. And so they, when they hit that level, they become aware of the only thing that they can't buy and they can't sell, and it's time. And they want to maximize it. And so you'll see some very successful people, doing a lot with their lives and with their days. You know, Politics aside, look at Trump. That son of a bitch, you would say, like, he works like a son of a bitch, right? But he's doing what he wants to do, but he's maximizing his time. You know, Not to pick on a political guy, but that guy, George W. Bush, right? Remember when he would go on vacation? He'd be like, fishing off of a Kennebunkport in the morning, and then be playing golf in the afternoon, and he'd play golf like in an hour and a half. I mean, and then he'd be jogging, and they become aware of their time. Poor people, young people, they waste it. They squander it. They think they got all the time in the world. They kind of do, but they waste it. They don't value it. And if you don't value your time, you're not going to value mine. And we're probably never going to meet with each other. We're probably never going to get it done. I want people that, recognize the value of what we offer, what we do, that they also value their own time and they're serious about what they're doing. Because I don't want to waste my time. I really don't. And if I get an inkling, you can try me on this. And it was kind of funny because the gentleman, he was a very nice gentleman. He was a very mature gentleman. And I asked him a question. I'm not going to tell you what the question is, but anybody who signs up for the Q School, we have to have a conversation. And I will ask you the question. If I get an inkling that a person is not being real, I won't take them on. I won't do it, even though you have the $3,000 for the Q School. and you want to do the annual. If I get that inkling, I won't do it because I don't want to waste my time. You might want to waste yours, or you may not care. Presumably the folks that are here are not. I don't think Tina is. I don't think, we may not be in a place yet for Tina. Hopefully one day we will be. I do understand that. Um, but if I do get the inkling the person is, I don't. So we don't take everybody. We just don't. And I won't say what that is but when he answered the question, he kind of maybe, he had to think about it. He kind of chuckled a little. And I said, you might as well be honest. You might as well be honest with yourself and honest with me. And, it's nothing it's not a personal question. It's nothing. I would never do that to anybody. But, well, it's pushing about 1 o'clock. If there are any questions, don't hesitate. What you're looking at is a swing machine. And so we started out, and again, we're just doing this to give folks an idea as to who we are, what we're about, and a chance to ask those questions. And you can ask them over the phone. You can ask them here. I'm happy to, and that was his question. Like, well, what's the value in Q school? What's the value proposition here? And, but you have to come to grips with what you know and what you don't know. You cannot learn anything. I want you to think about this. You cannot learn anything if you do not know what you don't know. And it's just, it just is. If I think, how hard can playing a guitar be? Right? I like to listen to Gordon Lightfoot. I watched the guy. I can't think of his name. He has a podcast, and I'm not a musician, right? But I find it fascinating as hell. And he critiques the musical aspects of all these different artists, right? It's really interesting, and he makes it interesting, anyways, right? And he was talking about Gordon Lightfoot, about how damn good he is. And I always knew, like, I like Gordon Lightfoot. I liked his music and stuff, but I'm not a musician, right? This guy's like, wow. Look, did you hear what he just did with that guitar? Did you just hear what he did? And I'm like, wow, I never really thought about it in those terms. I'm like, wow. And he was like, it was just kind of fun to listen to him critique that, another professional critique and another professional. But if I don't know what I don't know, I'll be like, anybody can be good in Lightfoot, right? Yeah, I bang out a few songs, strum the guitar. How hard could that be? Until you try to do it. Now, you've got to, so the first step in learning anything is recognizing that somebody is doing something that I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how they're doing it. By the way, this purse down here, I haven't made one decision today to put it on or put it off, right? So, but I did set up the criteria. On how to set this today. And I actually got an email from one of our annual members last night. And he ran the program yesterday, and she struggled yesterday. And he asked me, well, now what? Now what? And it's fine. He's new, relatively new, although he's been through the Q school. So I sent him, and I sent all of our annual members a video instruction on the adjustments that I was making and why. And we did that actually. We did it last night. So. But back to learning anything, you have to come to grips with recognizing what it is you don't know. And sometimes you just may not know what you don't know, right? So we'll stay with the guitar. When I was listening to this guy, but the other part of it is you have to have an interest or a passion to want to be able to play the guitar, right? If you don't have an interest in wanting to play the guitar, then you're not going to learn it. You're not going to commit the time. I would love to be able to play the guitar, but I have horrible hands. I couldn't do it. I know I couldn't do it. I just know I couldn't do it. And so I'm probably not going to commit the time. But if I did have the interest and I watched somebody, I would be like, holy crap, yeah, I didn't know that's what he was doing. And to hear another professional, look what he did. How the hell? So the question is, when we come here, and I show you this, did you go along the S&P at 7 p.m. on July 10th? Are you up 4 grand? Did you make 400? What were you doing? What were you listening to? On the NQ, on a 60-minute interval. This is an hourly interview. You didn't have to be here watching the market every minute of every day. Are you up 9 grand? Did you make 900? Did you make 1,500? Did you make anything? What have you been doing since July 10th and July 11th? Huh? You know, do we make it look too easy? Oh, maybe, maybe, maybe. Another endeavor, and I listened to, and I know you guys know this, and I was telling Susan this, it's like crazy. I listened to this other guy, it's called Probable Cause, and he critiques, and I'm not a pilot, private plane crashes every week. And I like listening to it, not because of the morbid, I'm not at all. He doesn't show video, and I don't want to see the video of it, but he critiques the mistakes that they make. And the reason I watch it or listen to it a lot of times is because they talk about when he talks about flying, it being very mechanical. And I would imagine too, even playing a guitar has got a bit of, mechanical, but then once you get beyond mechanical, it becomes like part of you, right? And I would think same thing with a pilot, that it's mechanical. But these people are crashing these things like every day. Do you know that in the month of June, there was a private plane crash every single day? That's crazy. Isn't that crazy? There was a bunch of people and they get killed all the time. And then like in July, and I'm thinking, my God, I didn't realize that many people, I guess, a lot of people got private planes. And he's got like 100,000 people watch these things. So it's got to be a ton of people. And these are people also too, taking up flying, and nothing against it. They're 70, 75 years old and they're flying for the first time, but not all of them, some are in their 30s, 20s and 30s, taking up flying and just making just awful decisions. And that's what he critiques, is that, that if they were properly trained, stayed current, worked their craft, they'd be alive. How's your account doing? Made a lot of money? Have $200,000 in an IRA, 500,000, million, 2 million, 5 million. It's a lot, want to impress, the family or your friends and everything with how much money you got. You got some of those friends. I got a couple. They're not really friends. I had one gentleman I didn't talk to in a decade. He wanted to call and tell me how much money he's got. Right. He was impressed with himself. I wasn't. He doesn't know what he doesn't know. He doesn't know what he doesn't know. And I'm not going to be in the seat next to him flying. And I'm not going to go buy a ticket to listen to him play and strum the guitar. If you want to learn how to trade, if you want to learn how to trade mechanically and robotically, and then ultimately work on your trading yourself so that becomes second nature and you become the Gordon Lightfoot of trading, you become Tom Cruise flying a jet, and you're calling me years from now saying, Don, you imagine how nervous I was when I was, when I was up 15, $1,600 and now I'm making 150 grand um, a trade. And that we have had members telling us that. It's great. Does it hurt me? No. This is not a zero-sum game. Your success, your success does not take away from me. It adds to my life, and I learn from everybody. But what I don't have time for, to bring it full circle, I can't waste time. I don't want to. I don't want you to either. If you have any questions, sing out. I got to get to work. All right. Have fun, everybody.